Hello and welcome wherever you are listening or watching. We're the Overtones and I'm Jay.
I'm Mike.
I'm Darren.
I'm Mark.
Good evening, everyone. And welcome to those of you that have followed us for many years or many months or many moments. We really appreciate you guys being here.
You talk about Midnight Caller, but actually a little bit later on, we have got a caller coming in, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yes.
How long are we going to be able to sustain the Midnight Caller vibe?
I don't know, but it feels sexy. Let's keep doing it.
I'm enjoying it.
So I think we're all in agreement that a lot of people don't really know what it is and what goes into organising a UK tour. So yeah, it'd be really great for us to talk about that.
I just said to Mark before, it's just like a week tomorrow, tour starts.
But because we
crazy.
always think like this time, just before a tour, like a week or so before the tour, we always feel like we're not ready. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how it happens, but within a week, everything just all slots into place. And then before you know it, it's the opening night.
We hope it happens again.
Well, I think, to be honest, I think it's the added energy of having that crowd there and having those slight nerves as well, which really kind of adds to the performance. So yeah, looking forward to Stockport on the 7th.
We'll be all right.
As Jay said as well, a minute ago, we're being joined by somebody in a minute, and they said something to us last week that was relevant to the point that you guys just made. So we're going to ask him about that in a minute. So don't let me forget.
I'm going to put it out there. I think this is going to be one of our best ever shows, best ever tours. I feel like we're in a really good place at the minute with what we're doing. We're having a great time on stage, which is the most important thing for me. And I think that's translating, and a few little tricks up our sleeves, few surprises. I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you were saying, Jay, about what it takes to put on a tour, I think when we look back to our first tour, obviously we only had one album's worth of material. So it kind of gets easier in a sense, like the more tours you do, because now we've got a back catalogue of like 7 albums, and along with the surprises as well.
It comes with problems though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
does come
because
with
then
problems.
it's like, wow, I mean, how much do we argue about what songs to include?
I mean, we're going to talk about the set list in a minute as well, and we're not going to give too much away. But we're go on tour in a week, and we're still talking about what songs are going to be absolutely final songs in this tour, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? We've, as we're recording this right now, we've just come from Radio 2 with Michael Ball, and it really hits home when he started off his chat with us at the fact that, we've already done 11 sellout UK tours in the last 12 years, 13 years. So with that, what goes in at the very beginning? When does it start? When does the decision get made to go, we're going on tour next year, 6 months? When does that process start for us? Just so we can, give people an inkling and that planning process really, because a lot of people maybe might not know that we're kind of completely independent after 13, 14 years. We run everything. We run our own teams. We manage everything. So actually it's a fairly unique situation, our setup, right?
You have to be organised, don't you?
I mean, it's fair to say that it starts with a promoter, right?
Yeah, but it starts timeline-wise. It starts a year before, or even more than that sometimes, right? But I think in this situation, it's definitely started last year. Us saying that we wanted to get back on the road at Christmas. It felt right, didn't it? Mm-hmm. It will be 4 years, like we keep saying, away from our Christmas tour, which is what we're kind of known for. We start people's Christmases. We're known for being on the road at Christmas, and I know people have missed it. So have we. COVID obviously had an effect on that, and then for reasons around that, it was just hard to get back into the venues because there's been so many people wanting to get in there, and the availability has been really hard. Just going on from that quickly, everyone that says, "Oh, why aren't you coming here? Why aren't you coming there?" Like, we can only apologise. We can only go where there's availability. There's 27 dates, and we're trying to go as many places as we can. But yeah, we definitely made the decision last year, and like you were saying, you get a promoter on board. You try and work out where there's availability, and then you start thinking about the actual show and how you want to build it.
Yeah, I suppose that, exactly. Building a team as well, because it's not just the promoter, is it? Because you got to think about all the elements, obviously the choreography, but then the music, the set, the design, the marketing. So on the face of it, people think we're just going out on the road, but there's so many people involved in that decision and what that show's going to entail.
There's an enormous amount of work, and I know that Jay, you've been quite instrumental in the kind of management and organization of the tour and the production side of things and management of people and And everything down to routing and buses and trucks and hotels and all this kind of stuff. And we've learned over the years how to do it, I guess. But we've also, we're always learning all the time. I mean, one of the first major challenges is as Darren kind of touched on, is the routing. It's ridiculously hard to do a tour routing because you've got to look at it all the way down, and I say all the way down like it's like the most simple, trivial thing, but it's not. All the way down to the drivers of like the tour bus, the sleeper bus that we all basically live on for a couple of months, and the truck. They've got to do a specific amount of hours, and then so you go, okay, right, we're in Newcastle on this day, and then the next day we're in Sheffield or wherever. Okay, that's going to take X amount of hours, but that driver has been sat in that seat now for X amount of hours. They need that amount of time off every few days. They need 24 hours off, and it's all that. So as well as all that, juggling all that, then you've got to juggle all the venues and their availabilities. It's a ridiculous amount to juggle.
Are you about to tell us that we're driving the bus?
We're taking into it.
Well, also specifically after COVID, because the world has sort of turned upside down for obvious reasons. Yeah. But equally within those 2 years, that there were so many people that couldn't tour, and and in fairness, people with huge profiles and lots of different things that had organised tours maybe 2 years in advance. So then, last year it was kind of like, well, we couldn't get on the road. And just picking up on what you said there, Daz, like, I think last year was that we were able to get out and do some Christmas shows, corporate shows. It just blew my mind, the amount of people that came to those Christmas shows and went, oh, I'm so gutted you're not touring this year. The tour is the official start to Christmas for us, which actually, and it wasn't just one, there was probably around 7, 8 people that said that exact thing. So that's why there's a tagline, isn't there, lads? Which is, the Good Times Tour, your official start to Christmas. It's really cool.
Is it gonna? I'm putting it out there. Is it gonna feel early singing Christmas songs?
I mean,
we've spoken about this
on November the 7th.
Yeah.
Like, boys, we've just come from Radio 2 Michael Ball show. And what did he do? He played our Christmas song.
I know.
They broke their rules. The biggest radio station in Europe broke their own rules to play to give us a world exclusive first play of Christmas Every Day.
Okay, you convinced me.
On October 29th. It's unprecedented.
I'm going to have a Christmas
big up to Radio 2.
Come on, Radio 2.
Yeah, Steve Softly, you're a legend. Michael Ball,
that is
legend.
I think we're safe.
November 7th. Okay, I've got a Christmas hat on. Just thinking, a lot of the tour, the planning, it kind of, one of the important things is after the routing, you need the artwork, because you can't put it on sale without the artwork. So we plan a photo shoot, and being the kind of organised boys that we are, thanks to Jay as well, we have a photo shoot, and out of that photo shoot, we want as much as we can. So we get shots for potential single covers, EP, album, tour. And it's just funny to have like a tour poster without a show, and you're like, this is on sale now, the Christmas Good Time show, but there's no show. Do you know what I mean? Until we get creating the show.
But it's great because sometimes it's great because we have creative conversations with other bands and other acts as well, and producers as well, and say, what comes first? Is it the artwork? Is it the music? And it's weird because I feel like we've done it in different ways every single time. And this time, like, thanks to Joseph Sinclair, who's our photographer. He's a regular photographer for us because he smashes it out the park, shoots for GQ, everybody, Disney, and he really kills it for us. And I think this time around, we did loads of shots for a kind of new look in many ways.
We had a really specific idea of what we wanted this time, didn't we?
Yeah, and again, he crushed it out the park, and we were like, oh, that looks... It's Good Times, that's Good Times. And in many ways, along with the conversations that we had, the kind of look started to dictate the name as well. And it was kind of like, wow, we're back on the road. We're going to have good times. It's been a crazy few years. Maybe it's about time people had good times back again. So it's weird how that happens, isn't it? It's like music. Is it the artwork? Yeah, it's interesting.
I think, with that, because obviously we're always talking about new music as well. Because the tour and new music kind of go hand in hand, whether it's recording a new album, which is forthcoming. But for now, we're focusing on tour, and we always like to give people surprises on tour. So it's like, what tracks are we going to add into the show to make it extra special? Giving away no secrets.
Well, I could tell you now the first song, and I could tell you the last song. I'm still a little bit
Well, yeah, it's fair to say that we're bringing back some old classics that maybe we're dusting off that we haven't done for a while.
Don't say anything because we've got we're going to do an episode
Okay.
specific to
My
set
lips are
lists.
sealed.
So let's talk about, but you know, going on from what Dan's saying about like the teams and Mike, we've got the artwork, we've got the Joseph Sinclair, but one thing that we need crucially are these, and what we call, and it steps out the side of music into sort of business, but those partners, those crucial people.
Wait, so we've got the venues,
We got
the artwork,
we got the venues, got the
and then
artwork.
it's just building a team, isn't it now?
It
We need
is.
someone to promote it,
Well,
and marketing team.
But in many ways, that promoter really helps us route that tour as well, because a lot of the time we kind of, you know, engaged in separate conversations about where we want to go, right? Where we want to go and do. And then it's kind of like, well, actually, such and such has got there, can't get there. But that promoter, and this time we're actually working with a new promoter. We've got to give a little shout out to Prestige.
Yep.
First time we're working with them, and they've been really, really fantastic in helping us route. In just getting behind us, really, lads, and supporting in lots of different means. Chameleon in the marketing aspect of stuff. So much goes into it, doesn't there?
So much. I mean, you'll be able to obviously verify this. There's meetings every single week, isn't there?
Yeah.
I tell you, literally, from when you decide to tour to when you're on stage, meetings every week.
You know, and I think every element of our team and our wider team for touring, you know, they've all got their pressures, right? They've all got their targets. They've all got things that they need to achieve during the run up to the tour. So, you know, you mentioned Chameleon, the marketing team within Prestige. And, you know, that every week we have meetings with them, and every week they're telling us their strategies for the next step, what they've done, what they're doing, what their goals are, and everything. And it's a lot of pressure, right? We you know, the four of us feel often that we've got a lot of pressure on our shoulders. We're the front line of this huge machine that we've got behind us. But equally, you know, like everyone's got their goals and their tasks, and it's tough and it's hard because again, every element of the promotion for the tour has to be, there needs to be like fresh ideas. There needs to be, you know, different ways to get the Overtones name and the name of the tour out there and everything else, you know. And, you know, we appreciate in a huge way every bit of graft that our team are doing for us, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when you touched on the creative thing, like, one of the processes I really love is from the moment we announce a tour, like you say, we need to think of different creative ways to advertise it. And, you know, a good example of that is recently, like, doing that Santa Claus promo
Fun, right?
was so much fun. You know, obviously that was an idea that we came up with, and then alongside Prestige and Chameleon, like, how are we going to market that? You know, how are we going to get that out to all the theatres? Shout out to Binky. But yeah, I mean, that is a really enjoyable side of, you know, promoting the tour and getting the tour together before it goes on the road.
Something else that you actually been in charge of this time, well, actually you always are, was the merch as well, right? Just thinking about being creative and using the pictures from the shoot, and we've been sorting out the merch. Literally signed off last week, right?
Yeah.
And we go on tour next week.
Yeah. For some reason, it's always like a bit lastminute.com
merch
with the merch.
Always is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, basically us whittling down what images that we want to use for, you know, the t-shirts and the program. That's the process. It takes a bit of time. So it's always close to the wire. We've got beautiful Kate that designs all our merch amazingly, and then Peter who gets it all produced. But I will say we've kind of honed it down now to
streamlined it,
over these years we've realised what people want, and, you know, from our merchandise, whether it be t-shirts. This year can I say what we're adding?
Yeah,
this year?
absolutely.
So we're adding a calendar into the mix this year.
That'll be on Sharon's kitchen wall.
You know it. And being that it's sort of our first Christmas tour in 4 years, it just felt really apt to have a calendar this year. So
are you all going to have it on your own kitchen walls, be honest?
100%. Because
every room?
Because some of the pictures, let me tell you, March.
Who's March?
Oh, mate, please.
Who's March?
You need to check it. I'm not even going to tell you. You just need to check it out.
All I'm saying,
it's going to be March all year round.
I'm going to let you into a secret. I messaged Smart the other day, and he's quite stressed because he's sorting out March. They
do call me Mitchy Mark.
Sorting out the months and the pictures, and we're all like, oh, what about this? And I said to him, please tell me and you are on May for both our birthdays. No, are you doing this now to me? You're doing it.
No,
I'll just say that we're starting the year the way we mean to go on with January. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's well said. But is our birthdays in there?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, Mitchy Mark.
Right, get Peter on the phone. Okay, so we've got the merch done. Boys, I just want to say, so from an Overtones show, how would you say we go about making sure that it's got everything in it that we want from a dance point of view, a singing point of view, the personality, the laugh moments? Like how do we kind of configure all that?
Well, it's really I from my take on it, it all starts with the idea of and this is really letting people behind the curtain, because actually one of the things that we wanted to do with the Good Times podcast is to kind of let you in and let you know, because a lot of people go, "Oh, there's misconceptions about touring. It's, oh, you got to do this, you could do that, you come here. Why aren't you coming here?"
Yeah.
So again, a lot of this is about letting you guys behind the curtain. But it does start with that budget and that predicted idea about what you can do with the resources that you've got available to you. Again, a lot of that comes from backing from our partners and what we can do and how many tickets you're going to sell in order to do these different types of stuff, but also from the idea of bringing sponsors on board as well. And this time around, we've got Fabulous Bingo. From Fabulous Magazine, who have been fantastic as well in supporting us. And they're going to be providing loads of gifts and fun, really cool things. So that's really cool.
Can you give us it's
absolutely fabulous.
It's absolutely fabulous. But then you've got this then element of a budget where we can then go, let's rip that apart and spend all of it on the production. Because I think, and when I joined the group, there is that real, it's not a pressure, but I think it's a pressure that we put on ourselves to make sure that we're living up to
maintain standards
the year before. And
we set our bar quite high on day one. So I think, like you say, I think it's just keeping that bar where it is, or raising the bar even.
And making it. And again, I can say this because I'm new, even though it's 4 years in, but like it really struck me that, you know, in joining the group, that it's really thought about, that the experience of the people that come to the shows, it is like, wow, this feels great. This is the escapism that we want to create for people. We want to create for ourselves. And I think that's really stand up and that's really, really cool. But that budget, everything goes.
Yeah. And so talking about the budget, and again, this is probably something that is very behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile talking to you guys about this, because for those of you that have been coming to Overtone shows for hopefully many years, you've seen a level of production and you've seen what we have on stage, and whether that's staircases or we've got big platforms and things like that. And in past years, we've had a band. Now, the band they're great friends of ours. They're incredible musicians. But, you know, the world, as Jay said, has changed quite considerably since COVID and cost of living crisis and various awful things that are going on around the world that affect how much everything costs, right? So last summer, we went on tour, our first tour after the lockdowns and everything else, and we did a more slimline tour, albeit the level of production we felt was great, and it was up there with anything we've ever done before, where we didn't have a band. And there were so many reasons for that. But ultimately, it comes down to money. It ultimately comes down to
absolutely.
money, right? So this year, we've decided that we're actually not going to go on the road with a band, albeit the tracks that we use are live tracks. So, you know, we're able to evolve and adapt the tracks into huge live numbers that give you the best experience watching or attending one of our shows. But again, to delve a little bit deeper again, just to give you a little bit more insight into that, everything is so much more expensive now, in that even down to wages, down to hotels, down to food, trucks, everything. Well, the moment we have a band, we need another bus. The moment we have a band, we need more hotels, everything else. It doesn't just add like a few quid onto the budget that we're literally, as Jay said, literally tearing apart to put this production on to the highest level possible. It adds tens and tens and tens of thousands on. So, you know, so you guys know, we still work and strive and give everything we've got to create a level of production that you guys will expect.
I'll vouch for that as well, because again, and I know the preconceptions about the tour and an artist or a group going on tour, like they must be minted, making money, all this sort of stuff. But in joining the group, I was genuinely surprised. It was like, wow, gosh, like you guys, it's that you tour because we want to tour. And there's this thing at Christmas, and we get out and we want to create things that then create traction for us for the rest of the year. Granted, corporate shows, all that sort of stuff, but touring is a thing that like we've kind of I was like, God, this is something that we do and we love to do, and it's not like making fortunes. It is pumped back into the production, which is really cool. Equally, it was like, can we not? But, it's genuine. That
Interestingly, like Madonna just performed at the O2.
I know you'd find a way
she's
of getting Madonna into it.
She's made a decision this year not to have a band,
Right.
and maybe that was a creative decision, but I think more and more now artists just changing up the way that they put on tours, whether it be for financial reasons, for creative reasons. And one thing I will say is we were really nervous about that, weren't we?
Yeah, we
on
were.
tour last year,
100%, yeah.
the amazing feedback that we had from last year's tour 10, I think put our minds at rest.
Yeah.
I mean, look, for the people that have been to our shows before, they know that we give everything.
I'm sneezing, guys. I'm sneezing,
You got a
guys.
little cold. You feel all right?
Yeah, I've got a cold, but
Well,
look,
look,
I'm still here.
So we've got that team just to. So we've got the. Oh, you're not done.
Allergic to Mike's hairspray or something.
Carry on, Jay.
So we got our team and our artwork. You mentioned the video that we did with the Santa, with Santa training us ready for tour, which was class. We've got to give a quick shout out to Chris Brooker as well, who's our cinematographer. He's our DOP, which is a director of photography. He always kills it for us.
Can I just say on the subject of Santa about giving anything away, you're going to be seeing him all over your TV this Christmas. That's all we can say.
Well, I give a shout out to Santa Claus himself as well.
Yeah, Santa.
Big up Santa. It was so nice to actually meet him.
It was, and he was trying to get us as elves, trying to recruit me and Darren because we're the smallest in the group. Darren's smaller than me. No, it was really, really cool. So we've got all of our bits there. And then we're going to talk about our set list in another episode because that is one thing itself, right? And our special guest, that's another thing itself. But equally, one of the biggest things outside of the music is the dance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it time?
Oh, yeah.
You reckon it's time?
I think it's time.
I think we bring a certain somebody in.
Should we speak to Dax?
Let's do it
now.
There he is, handsome boy.
Here we go.
Hey, Dax Rooney, how you doing?
Dax Rooney.
Well, I was about to say that the way you all put your headphones on was the most even that went terribly wrong.
Went terribly wrong.
Mate, I had a bit of a moment there with my headphones thinking, what am I doing? It was like I've never put headphones on before.
It's always Jay, isn't it? It's always Jay.
I noticed how slowly Mike put his on because of his hair. He's like, don't mess the hair
Some
up.
of you might recognise Dax, the name if you're listening, and the face as well if you're watching this. Dax is a bit of a legend in the game, in the music industry, choreographer. I remember going to Pineapple years and years ago when I wanted to be a performer, but I just didn't have the confidence, and I'd just go there to see what it was all about. And I'd always see you, and I was like, there's this young kid like teaching, like, who is he? Like, I didn't really understand, but like, I kind of got to know you through people over the years, and
he still looks about 15.
And you've never aged.
I remember the first time I ever saw Dax. It was a club in London called the Pig Owl Club, where he was performing in his group, Lexington Bridge.
Oh, you were there?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you were there, Mike.
I was there.
I was there.
Wait. We need to go back further because you can find this on YouTube, guys. You're just gonna love me for saying this. Dax was signed to a label in France, and he was a bit of a heartthrob in France. He had this solo career, signed to a major label, and I think he was like the Justin Bieber before Justin Bieber. Let's say that.
That just makes so much sense.
Listen, when we leave here, go on YouTube.
So, Dax.
Yes.
Dax Callahan, everyone.
Dax Callahan.
We've worked with you for many, many years now, and I think on our side anyway, we call you a friend. And it's so cool to kind of get back, get together with you like once or twice a year, like before tour, before any big performance that we do, or music video. And it kind of just, it feels like home, doesn't it, boys, when we're with Dax?
It's very loose, but yeah, Dax does all our choreography. He's our creative director when it comes to the tour. And in fairness, when we enter the rehearsal room, it's a bit like stray sheep. And I'm sure this is what he's going to say. But equally, he whips us into shape, gets us focused, and gets us really sharp. I hope that's what he's going to say.
Well, I need to say,
tour,
pre-Dax, like we had some choreographers and like sometimes they'd do like 10-hour days. And Dax was just like, there's just no point because you guys can only focus for 2 hours.
Should we let the poor guy talk?
Thanks, Dax, for today.
So Dax for joining us, Dax. So Dax, do you want to kind of tell us about when we first started working together and how our relationships kind of evolved and how the choreography's kind of changed and evolved over the years and everything else?
Yeah, well, as you say, you had other choreographers before, and I think it switched around for you guys quite a bit. As Darren said, like I kind of loosely knew Darren in the industry through. I mean, back then everyone was auditioning for boy bands and stuff, and me and Darren were really close to being in the same band at one point. And I remember it just came about that one of your choreographers was like, "Oh, would you like to go in with the Overtones? I think you'd be a good match." And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I think it just fit like a glove because I had done it's hard if you haven't been in it, but tell me if I'm articulating this right. Because I'd been in a group, especially a group of guys,
yes,
you know how to manage it. As you say, there's no point going 10 till 6. You guys were very much like the group that I'd been in. Everyone was a pure personality. Everyone wanted the best for the group. So the main goal was there. Like everyone wants to work. Like don't get it twisted that it sounds like everyone's doing the minimum for the result needed. It's not that. Everyone wants the best. Everyone's working.
It's a little bit of that.
There's enough coffee break.
I mean, the dynamics have changed. I mean, from back then to now, you guys are managing families and kids. There's a lot more variables. But back then I was like, I know how to almost trick you guys into learning the necessities of stuff. We'd always learn the choruses first because I know that they'll get repeated. So by the time you learn the next verse and be like, oh, this is the chorus again, you're like, oh, and you feel like you've learned a lot more.
Like we're properly getting the inside scoop of how you manipulate our stats.
No, but I completely appreciate how he was like, boys, you might as well do like a 4-hour intense session rather than an 8-hour session, because after a few hours, like one of us would be on our phone, like Mike would be over there drinking water, someone would be over there whistling to themselves, and like we just stopped taking it in after a certain amount of time, right?
Which is quite normal for artists as well, but it happens with you guys because it's quite normal because you have huge personalities, and my job is to make sure that your show is truth. There's no perfect formula to a perfect show. It doesn't exist. Otherwise, we'd bottle it and just do it with every artist. Every show has to be truth, and I need your personalities to shine as much as possible, which means you feel good about what you're doing as well. It's not a manipulative thing. It's management, isn't it? It's choreography. We create what's best for you guys. We work with you guys, and it's about you guys feeling good. And you guys have such big personalities. You do steam in, and then once you're gone. But that's very normal.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me how we started off back in the day. It's quite traditional almost with the choreography in terms of like mic stands. Every routine was on a mic stand, and now, especially since Jay joined the band, I feel like we've really evolved and we've become this sort of different group in terms of choreography, which has really set a tone for like the future and moving forward. Would you say?
Definitely. I think when I took you guys over, it was. As you say, it was really, I won't say structured, but I know what you're saying. It was quite obvious what you guys were about at the beginning, and you were still selling your concept as well. So that was fine. And I think one of the tours, I think it was you, Darren, that messaged and said, look, I think you were doing more Motown on one of the albums, and said, look, we want to go a bit more cooler. But I just got behind that. The thought process behind it was you guys are daring to do more. Like you want to try different stuff, and I kind of get excited being with you guys every year to try something different. There's a lot of things we do, and even if you don't get it straight away, you see what we're trying to do, and you're like, oh, that'd be quite different. So that it's just for the audience as well, because we're meant to give them escapism, give them a good show. And I think you guys somehow you land it every time. On a 2-hour rehearsal, you land it every time.
Just to give you a behind the curtain thing. Like, you guys don't know. You don't know. I messaged him the other week. I couldn't get to a rehearsal, basically, for anyone listening and watching. I was moving house, and the moving day just happened to be on this day, and I couldn't make it to rehearsals. So I just said, "Oh, sorry, I'm not there, but enjoy teaching those fools," or something like that. And he went, "Oh," he went, "Jay will be late. Mike will be there for half hour before he switches off, and Mike will just want to go on a coffee break."
Can I just say, the person with the least attention span out of the whole group is this boy right here.
Yeah.
You can't hold his attention for more than 5 seconds.
We've always got this kind of like funny thing where like we'll go into a rehearsal and within like 15 minutes, me and Darren will lean over to each other and be like, I'm done.
I love the last rehearsal that we did, which was just last week, where Dax was like, I don't know how you do it, but somehow at the end of the rehearsals, you managed to nail it, and it still puzzles me.
So going on from that, because I mentioned it a bit earlier on, if possible, I want you to kind of delve into that a little bit more. But if you can kind of answer that in like a general, how is it working with us? And like, we're right behind the curtain here, so like, please do like just. Be truthful. You don't need to gloss it up too much. Just keep it humorous, please.
You can gloss it. You can gloss it up with me.
Like tell us what it's like working with us, because I know that we can be challenging, complicated.
No, like working with you guys is absolute pleasure. I think there's a change. I can do it the other way around actually to compliment you. It's there's a lot of artists you work with nowadays, not so much back in the day, but now, and you're aching for them to have some personality. So back in the day, you couldn't get on the radio or release a song or be an artist unless you were different or had something different. Now you can't do it unless you're the same as everything else on the radio. And I think it's really nice. Like I feel the overall of why I allow you guys to still be your personalities, because I feel like it's my job to protect and nurture your personalities so that comes out on stage. No one will believe it. I mean, you will go for an 8-hour day, but you just wouldn't enjoy it, and it would wear out by the time you got to stage. If you're doing the job, because when the job's not being done, we do crack the whip, and it's like, come on, guys. So it's not like, don't make people think you're completely lazy. It's not that at all. But it's my job to like nurture your personalities. Your personalities are big. And it's hard for me to tell you off when it's jokes that I want to join in with as well. So it's,
I have noticed that.
We've just released our new single, Christmas Every Day. I know we're going to be talking about that on another podcast. But in terms of the choreography, it'd be interesting, I think, for people to know how you approach that, because it's a music video, it's not a live performance. So how does that differ, would you say?
Well, I mean, people probably don't realise you have to do multiple versions of these songs.
Yeah.
So, when I came to we got choreo in the chorus for the music video of this, specifically didn't want mic stands because we had just done that for Gambling Man, your last video. So it's always trying to switch it up. But then when it comes to tour, you're going to lose your left hand because you've got to hold the mic, which is quite good, and then it's not just taking out the hand, it's when we switch it, and you've all got to switch it at the same time and do it in a way that no one knows you're doing it. So, there's some mechanics behind, but you guys have been doing it for so many years. It's I don't think the rehearsal rooms changed that much, other than you guys have got families that you're managing. I don't know if people behind the curtain, to reveal that, know how much you guys manage of your product and your brand.
You did touch on
That's the thing.
Well, we've been talking about that, Dax, today, and just again, just letting people into everything really, and kind of introducing and talking through like our teams from our promoters, and actually some people we haven't talked about at the moment is people who actually make the tour tick whilst on tour. People like our production manager, John Luton, people like Craig and Joe who do all the lighting and the staging, and also Cristiano, who again is our incredible sound engineer. And so what's your kind of role with those guys, and how you communicate with those guys sort of towards the end of the tour to make sure everything comes together and all of those teams come together from a creative director stroke choreographer type role?
I think the set and the lighting is always underestimated. From like the audience don't realize how much goes into that. So for me, that's always been quite important. I think that's the creative director role. And then like Cristiano's been with you guys, I think from day dot, has he?
Pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you guys bring a real family feel. So everyone, I don't know, it's the kind of project where you don't need to over talk. People kind of anticipate what everyone needs and comes together pretty quick. But I think, everything leans on the choreo. The lighting has to complement kind of the choreo. Everything's from the staging. You can't light up the wrong bit of stage. Do you know what I mean? Like everything, the choreo is quite important. Everything will sync up from that. And then above that, obviously, is Cristiano with your vocals. I mean, your vocals are number one. If there's any, as you guys know, if there's anything you can't sing while dancing, we lose the dancing immediately and try and keep the patterns.
I find it interesting how long the process is of like getting the show from an idea of the show to having the show on stage. But then it's always like panic buttons leading up to it. So it's like we'll be in production rehearsals. You'll be running through some choreography with us still. You'll be running over to the lights. Do you know what I mean? Then the next day it's on the stage. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of at the end it just happens quick.
Yeah, it's trying to get that balance where you don't want to cut yourself short because these people have bought a ticket. It's not really about you guys or me or anyone else. It's about the people that bought a ticket for their night out, and you don't know what it means to them. Some people, everyone's going through something in their life, and this is their escapism.
Yeah.
A lot of your songs don't belong to you; they're nostalgia from other artists. And you guys have a huge responsibility for that. They're meant to leave the theatre with the same lives, but with a different perspective, and you don't want to cut yourself short.
Dax, do you live near an airport?
Yeah, can you hear it? A little one out in the sticks. But at the same time, you want to make sure you've done everything that no stone left unturned. It does change a lot. I mean, I was listening to you guys 15 minutes before I came on. So Let It Snow's gone, yeah.
We're still arguing about that.
It's not an exclusive. Not 100%.
No. We got.
Can I just say, I think we're gonna love you and leave you soon, and thank you very much for joining us. But I think it goes without saying that you're really appreciated in the Overtones camp. You not only do you give us these moves that we genuinely feel. And interestingly, as you kind of touched on earlier, when you joined the team, we finally felt that what we were doing on stage choreographically was actually right. It was the first time we as the Overtones felt, okay, this is what we need to be doing. We found our groove. We genuinely felt like we were in a safe pair of hands. So I'd say that to you. And also just above all of that, we're in rehearsals and we're standing there and we're discovering the things that we need to include or incorporate within the set and within the staging and within the lighting and the sound and everything else. And we literally say, oh, Dax, we need a count in our ears there. We need the lights to do this. We need smoke to come in here, whatever it is. And you're like straight on the laptop, you're bang, 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 bang. Great, leave it with me, because we know that on the first day and the production rehearsals and things like that, you're going to be there working with the entire team to visually, sonically make this thing come to life over and above what we do. So, mate, you're seriously appreciated, and we know that we know that we give you a hard time. We know that we have a laugh, and we can be challenging to manage sometimes. But you're appreciated, mate, and thank you for.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for helping us feel comfortable as well and at home. And I'd like to say a big shout out to you and Aston and the team at Bass. You're doing great things. Shout out to Bass Dance Studios and on the new academy, giving people of all ages a home to go to where if they want to train in the industry and make their dreams come true. So
we're going to be expanding soon as well. Bass Studios.
We'll promise we'll have the set list sorted by the next time we see you.
Yeah. Well, I might keep listening just so I can hear any other things you've discussed.
Hey, Dax.
See you in rehearsals
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Guys, love you guys.
Thanks, Dax.
See you soon.
Thank you,
Take
mate.
it easy.
Take it easy. He's such a he's such a good lad, isn't he? Like everything that he does for us, and it's so cool to hear him talk that way, because I think when we're usually in rehearsals, you've got that side, but equally, he likes us lads, and he just think we're all right, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say, like, we say choreographer, but really probably creative director is the right term for him, because, like
Yeah.
you
I
say,
think it's a bit of
Yeah,
both,
yeah.
isn't
Yeah,
it? You know,
totally.
I mean, and also over and above Dax, I will say, like, we go in and there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on our shoulders. We've got a small amount of time to create the show that we're going to be putting on in front of thousands of people. There's and as Dax touched on, that importance and the responsibility of giving people often a much needed great night out. But we go into these rehearsals and we do have a good laugh. I go into rehearsal every day with you boys, and it's like, I know that we're gonna have a crack. I know that we're gonna mess around. I know that we're gonna have a laugh, but at the same time, kind of like do the work that we need to do.
It's funny, isn't it? Because they say don't work with friends. You shouldn't work with friends, but like we're not colleagues. We're friends, right? We're best friends. Cristiano, friend. Dax, friend.
Yeah.
There's a common theme there.
I remember, and I'll just say this really quickly, but I remember for the 2019 tour and all of those rehearsals, and I think there's a moment that sticks out in my mind where I was just like, I'm just so overwhelmed, by the choreo and like by the thoughts of how am I going to sing and dance and do those routines, and then the baggage of like you boys just being absolutely slick and on point. But Dax's kind of support in that and kind of bringing me up to speed was just like, it was amazing. Even now, coming into these rehearsals and like, he's going through choreo and I'm going and I'm panicking, but in the back of my mind, I've got his voice in my head going, you'll get it into your body.
Yeah,
And it totally does. He's so right that kind of, it does, because by the end of the day or the end of you going, oh yeah, it is in my body. I feel like we skirted through some of the other members of our team who make the show absolutely amazing. So we just got to, again, just give another little mention to John Luton, who again keeps things ticking from an organisation, administrative point of view on the tour with production. We've got Craig and we've got Joe on our lighting and staging that literally scour the UK to make sure that we can find the best possible lights that fulfill our vision of what we want on stage. And then obviously Cristiano as well, our engineer, who's making it sound the best it possibly can be for you guys. So I just want to put that out there because I feel like we're giving a whole overview about what it takes to put on tour. But
and also, like at the end of the day, as Darren said, we are all friends. And in a touring situation, we're working with people that are doing their job. But I will say, being on tour it can be difficult and it can be emotionally hard in the sense that, you're often extremely tired. You're away from home. We're away from our families. Is something that I'm a little nervous about, being away from my family, being away from Max and because we're on the road for a long time. But what makes it a lot easier on a daily basis is the relationships that we form with not only between the four of us, but Tom, who we're going to be speaking to in the next episode, or the crew. We have relationships with each and every one of these that makes this often difficult stage of our careers much more bearable and a lot easier. So, they're very much appreciated.
Thanks, Mike. Actually, that's a brilliant way to round off this first episode of the Good Times Tour podcast. Join us for the second episode where I think we'll be talking about Jay.
Yeah, we're going to be talking
about Jay.
We actually glimpsed on it. We're going to be talking about the set list, which we'll go into a lot of detail, but also our special guest.
Yes.
Yeah. Who is going to join us live in the studio in person. Won't make sense if you're listening. But equally, want to say a massive thank you to everybody that is listening. And if you are, please make sure you like and make sure you share and subscribe, because in doing that, you're letting us know that you're listening, first of all, and also you like what we do. So and be sure to hit us on the socials as well if there's anything that you've got to say about the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.